Now we're getting all nostalgic here on the programme this morning, because for more than 4 decades, this car has been one of the most popular in Britain, but the end of the road could be in sight for the beloved Ford Fiesta.
Because the model is expected to be discontinued next year after selling almost 5 million cars here in Britain alone.
5 million. Have you got one? Do you love it? Have you got a story? We want to hear from you this morning. But first, let's just get a look back at the Fiesta through the years.
The Ford Fiesta. Never has more advanced engineering gone into a small car. The Fiesta's been designed to give 86% all-round vision.
Now, I was just looking at that, fondly remembered as people's first car. What about your first snog? How many people have had a snog in the back of a Ford Fiesta?
Really? You speak from personal experience on the front, not while driving.
Obviously not.
Obviously.
Passenger seat and stationary in a car park.
We could stay and talk to Victoria about this for some time.
Please
I
don't.
suspect we won't.
Please
But let's speak instead, take the pressure off her, to Erin Baker, who's the editorial director at Auto Trader. Good morning to you, Erin.
Good morning.
So many of our viewers getting in touch this morning. They love this car. They're really sad to think it might be coming to the end. What is it about the Fiesta that people love?
Well, I think, everyone talks about the Fiesta fondly as their first car. And for many it was because, very small, very easy to park, relatively affordable. But actually, I ran one not so long ago. And I think the reason for its enduring popularity is it's got that Ford engineering magic, which is that it's also lovely to drive. And actually, in many ways, it's all the car anyone has ever needed.
And you didn't have one yourself, did you? But you longed for one.
Yeah, I could only afford an Austin Metro when I learned to drive. I aspired to a Fiesta.
But did you ever travel in one? What was that experience like for you? What are your Fiesta memories?
Yes. Well, I was born in 1978, so 2 years after the first one came out. I remember my grandmother, she had one with, I think it had a rather racy dog tooth, kind of black and white check interior. So she loved that. She had her driving shoes she used to put on to drive that car. And I've been in and out over the years, like everyone has.
And her shoes matched the interior of the car, is that right? She had dog tooth driving shoes.
Yeah, and they had exactly. They had the protected heel for the gear changes. Yeah.
We're seeing some pictures of classic Fiestas. I mean, the thing is, although they were recognisably Fiestas, they changed quite a lot over the years. There are lots of different marks and types of them.
They did, but that price point always stayed relatively low, and that, as I say, that driving character that they had, it felt like real quality. The build quality, the way it drove and handled, it was lovely.
Now, Ford has been saying for a while, as have lots of the car makers, that the future is electric. We know that there's going to be a big phasing out of diesel and petrol by 2030 in this country. Was there no way that you could put a battery and sort of retrofit this, somehow make the Ford Fiesta sort of future-proof? Was that just not a goer?
You could put a battery into it. There are other small cars from other brands on the road that are electric currently, but the profitability is hard to get in small cars. I think it was Henry Ford who said, small car, small profits. And I think Ford is doing the right thing here. It's pivoting its brand like all brands are to electrification. With that comes a restructuring of the model portfolio. Petrol and diesel, as you said, 2030 are out, electric is in. We think probably that will leave the electric Puma as the smallest car from Ford that is electric. And I think actually what that points to is an even sadder story in many ways, which is the demise of every single body shape out there other than the SUV. You know, the Puma is kind of a small SUV, and estates, hatchback saloons, we've seen sales of those dwindle over the years, and the Fiesta is a hatchback. And even though all of those, to my mind, you know, they handle better, they ride better, I give you the Fiesta, they're just not what the public are after now.
Added to which, it's really hard to say electric Fiesta, isn't it? I can't imagine going to a showroom and
sounds like a great party, doesn't it?
Yeah, quite. Is this a trend we're seeing across the industry? We're talking about Ford, but other manufacturers globally, are they doing the same kind of thing?
Yes, everyone is looking at what they're going to offer to consumers, how they can really maximise revenue and profits, but also what consumer demand is going to look like in the next few years. And that's not just, you know, volume brands like Ford. You look at a wonderful British brand like Jaguar, which is also having to really reimagine what it's going to look like post-2030, both in the UK, but also don't forget, these are global brands. They've got to look at their sales in Europe and in markets like China and Far East as well. And so everyone's thinking, well, if there's this perceived notion of safety and practicality around SUVs and a kind of active, rugged outdoor lifestyle, and that's where everyone's headed, then, you know, there's no option but to jump on the bandwagon, really.
Erin, thank you so much for joining us with your memories and your insights. Lots of breakfast for you. I knew you'd love this. I knew you'd get in touch this morning. And
you have in your droves. Let's run through some of your memories. Here is Ruth. Ruth in 1982, proudly escorting on the roads her Ford Fiesta Million. She adds that she loves the car because she said it was cool.
Still is, Ruth. Still is. So are you. Amy sent us a picture as well of her A-Reg Fiesta, which she bought for 50 quid. She had it for 2 years. That was money well spent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she says she has the fondest memories of driving it.
We've got Brian. Brian's car coming up next. Oh! The sporty version, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. He says, I love my Fiesta. It puts a huge smile on my 61-year-old face every time I drive it.
Looks like Brian looks after that car,
don't
you reckon? That's in the garage, yeah.
With the wheelbarrow like that, yeah.
And we've had this one in from Rain. Rain's lovely memory. Here's my girlfriend and me on our first holiday to France in my first car, an aubergine Fiesta. Showing off there.
Yeah.
Showing off. Nearly 10 years ago. And now we're getting married next summer. I hope you're going away from the wedding in your car, in your Fiesta.
You do. You need some cans, don't you? Tied up with string at the bottom.
Tins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We want more pictures, OK? We want your memories, your special events, your life events, things that have happened in that car. Don't you get in touch with your stories.
I'm keeping completely silent.
We want to get in touch in the usual way, at BBC Breakfast on Twitter, bbcbreakfast@bbc.co.uk.
Try and keep it clean, then we can read them out.
And show them. Right, 28 minutes past 7. It's time to get the news, the travel and weather where your Fiesta is parked this morning. We'll see you in a second.